Hello and welcome back to the second session of Knowing Bayelsa with me, your host, Yvonne Azibato Paul. With me today, this session, I beg your pardon, we will be talking with the Commissioner for Environment, which will be discussing about our environment, our lives, and our Bayelsa. The Ministry of Environment just concluded World Environment Day, whereby they celebrated about our environment, our lives, and our Bayelsa. So I will be introducing to you the Commissioner for Environment. Let's quickly meet him. Honorable Commissioner, Mr. Ebipatei Apaingolo.
Thank you very much. Thank you, viewers.
All right, so quickly, Mr. Commissioner, I'd like you to talk more about, or a little about your theme for the World Environment Day, our environment, our lives, our Bayelsa.
Yes. Actually, the theme for this year's World Environment Day was beat plastic pollution. But Bayelsa State, we have a peculiar environment, and as such, we have been suffering a different form of environmental pollution, which is oil spillage, and that has been there for quite some time. Nothing reasonable has been done about it. It became a problem for Bayelsans, for the Bayelsa State government. His Excellency Honorable Seriake Dickson was so worried about our environment. You will agree with me that one Niger Delta governor who has been championing the cause of the just struggle is Honorable Seriake Dickson. Why? Because he understands what we suffer as a people. We have oil, we cannot see it, but we suffer the third-party effects. And as such, it was eminent for Bayelsa people to appreciate our environment, appreciate our lives, and appreciate our future. Hence, the government and the good people of Bayelsa State agreed that, look, this time around, yes, the world is talking about how to beat plastic pollution, but we are going to say no to oil spillage. Because when we say Bayelsa State, we are talking about our environment, which has been destroyed by exploration activities. Then we have to look at our lives. What we are inhaling, we don't know, but we are gradually dying because of the destroyed environment by different forms of chemicals, gas, and other forms of chemicals. So we have to look at our future as well. If we allow this kind of production to continue, definitely our future is in trouble. This kind of production is not sustainable. A production that is going to take the natural resources, destroy the environment, it is not sustainable. The consumption and production pattern of these oil companies is not sustainable. Hence, we decided to use the World Environment Day as a medium to announce to the world that, look, this is what we are suffering from the oil companies. Yet, we cannot see any form of development. So that is why we carefully pick those words. Bayelsa, our lives, our future. We have to stand now, say no to oil pollution, criminalize any form of oil pollution, so that I think the world is going to hear about what we are going through, and the oil companies too will wake up from their slumber and realize that they are cleaning our people, realize that we are mortgaging our future. If we continue like this, development Bayelsa State and the Niger Delta at large is not going to be sustainable. So we are looking at how to curb oil pollution. We are looking at how to institute a safe environment. We are looking at how to ensure sustainability of our future.
All right, thank you. That has been the Commissioner for Environment, and you can join the conversation by liking our Facebook page and dropping your comments right there. Or you can send text messages to the numbers that I'm going to read out now. 070-6840-5809. I'll take that again. 070-6840-5809. 070-1193-8880. 090-834-85732. Mr. Commissioner, I'm back to you. I just feel like there's so much we have to talk about today. But quickly, I want to bring another question to you.
It's okay.
One of the major environmental issues prevailing in our climate is oil spillage. And Bayelsa State, being an oil producing state, Our environment have been devastated by oil pollution. What is your ministry doing to ensure that oil companies operating in the state take remedial actions to protect man's environment?
That's it's a good question, and it is quite a tasking one, so to say. But let me tell us, am live on TV, and the watch you hear this. The oil companies operating around Bayelsa State and the Niger Delta region, they are very stubborn. They have this offensive attitude. And what pains me so much is that most of the people operating in our area, they are blacks, they are Nigerians, and they fail to understand what they are doing to us. I want to at least commend the Shell Petroleum Company and the AGIP. These two oil firms have been responsible to some degree. Why am I saying this? These are the only two firms since I came on board as a commissioner in the Ministry of Environment that I know that whenever there is a spill case anywhere, they alert the ministry, then we go for what we call a post spill investigation. A staff from SPDC, a staff from the Ministry of Environment, and a staff from Nostria. These three teams would go, ascertain what actually caused the spill, the extent of damage, and stuff like that. So that if it is caused as a result of equipment failure, or if it is as a result of sabotage. So now, when you ascertain the cause of the spill, then every other thing can follow. But one thing that still pains me so much is that 99.9% of spills that I have come to see as the Commissioner of Environment in the ministry, most times the GIV report shows that it is as a result of sabotage. And when that happens, the oil company will say, you are the people that have destroyed the pipes, you have to deal with it. But the question is this: if actually a ghost individual has come to destroy the pipe, and the entire community around doesn't even know what happened, so you mean because of one individual, the entire community will suffer? And that is the fight we have been fighting with the oil companies. They know. Last time, I think about a month ago, Shell agreed with us that, okay, what we should do is to organize sensitization programs for the communities around so that they will know what anybody that is having that kind of plan to destroy the pipelines know what he or she is doing, the dangers, and how it's going to cost the community. Yeah. So we had one actually in my ministry, and it was successful. I commend them for that. Then, secondly, what Bayelsa should know, for I think since 2012, when our Atoknadu governor took over government, he commissioned a group of professionals, and they have been carrying out a holistic environmental impact assessment of the entire Bayelsa state. When I came on board, I got to realize that this kind of study is on, and I think they have done about 80-something% of their study, and results have started coming out. And I met with one of the professionals who is handling the job, and what he told me, the results are not very good. So if all of that analysis is done and we have the results, then we have something solid to hold on to these oil companies. Because most times when spill cases occur, of course we don't have money as local people. The oil companies will employ the professionals to go and carry out their investigations. And what do you expect? Results will definitely favor them. That is where we are handicapped. For instance, what happened in Kulama in 2012 or 2013 or thereabouts, a gas explosion occurred at Chevron, Texas. Chevron brought their own professionals and carried out their study, their tests, and stuff like that. And the result, according to Chevron, Texas, that the gas does not have any effect on human, nor even aquatic life. So what are you going to say? Kulama people are poor people. They don't have money to employ professionals to carry out this test. But thank God for Seriake Dickson, who is so foresighted, who has seen what Bayelsa is being exposed to. And immediately came on board, he commissioned this group of professionals to carry out this holistic environmental impact assessment. And the results are coming out. At the end of the day, Bayelsans will say, oh, thank you, God, for giving us Governor Henry Seriake. Yeah. So all of that is what the government and the Ministry of Environment are doing to ensure that these incessant spill cases without adequate compensation is something we can handle in the shortest period of time.
Thank you. So there was an order by the Vice President directing all the oil companies to relocate their offices to Bayelsa. Have they complied?
None.
What is the government doing to ensure they comply?
Well, it still boils down to the fact that the oil companies are playing under the guise of this is an exclusive business for the federal government. They hide under federal laws to do whatever they are doing.
You say they hide under federal laws. Like,
Yeah.
what kind of laws are those laws that give them to stay away, even where there is a directive for them to relocate?
What I mean by federal laws is that, going by the Land Use Act, land entirely belongs to government, and this onshore dichotomy of a thing. The petroleum industry is in the exclusive list. It is the federal government that has the prerogative to come up with legislations that shapes the petroleum industry. So whatever the state government is doing, the state government will still go back to the federal government and invoke a particular portion of the law. So what they are doing is that, yes, we are in your state, but it is the federal government that supersedes our activities. Recently, I heard from the grapevine. I have not confirmed, though I have told the appropriate departments in my ministry, the Petroleum and Pollution Department, to find out. I heard from the grapevine that AGIP is trying to shift their base to somewhere in Bayelsa. I don't know how true it is anyway, but I have told my people to find out and give me appropriate information. So, going by what the Vice President mentioned the other time, no company has complied as far as Bayelsa State is concerned, and they are not ready to do so. Of course, that is in their usual characteristics. They are not ready to do so. None has complied so far.
All right. We're still talking with the Commissioner for Environment, and like I said earlier, you can join the conversation by dropping your questions, and the Commissioner is here. He will attend to your questions once you send them. You can still send text messages to the numbers. I'm still going to read them out: 070-6840-5809, 070-1193-8880, 090-834-85732. Mr. Commissioner, I still have some other questions to ask you, and I would need honest questions. The state just had let's say, one of the biggest environment days in Yenegua a few months ago. What's the impact of this event on the people right now?
Yes, I think one major thing that I think anyone that participated in the recent World Environment Day can go home with is that robust awareness that you have a role to play in environment. That environment is important to us. Sustainability is important to us as a people. Now, so many persons didn't even know the extent to which the Bayelsa State environment has been destroyed by oil companies. But when we celebrated that, or when we marked rather World Environment Day, because of the massive mobilization, the information that was passed, a lot of persons came and they had the opportunity to understand what we are exposed to, what our parents in the villages are exposed to. They understood the number of spill cases and how no adequate compensation has been paid, the gases we inhale, even the farm plots that we work on, if it has been destroyed and no proper cleanup is done, the hazard that comes with oil pollution, the people are now aware. When they go, they will tell people. You understand that this is how it is. So that information is a great one. At least we have gotten that consciousness that our environment is destroyed, and this is what we are suffering slowly.
Okay, let me ask, will it be wrong if someone said that your campaign was only in Yenegua and not in a locality? Like you earlier said, you said you had a sensitization program. Did you take this program to the localities? Because here in Yenegua, if people are suffering this, it's just going to be just a little portion of people are going through that. But the major is those people in a locality. What are the measures you're putting in place to take this into the locality, to teach these people who are suffering this whole oil spill issue?
Well, let me tell the public. On that day, we declared no to oil spillage. But it wasn't just something we mentioned on that day and let it be. It is actually a policy that we declared on that day.
Okay.
And we went as far as bringing people from the local villages to attend to that program. So since it is a policy that we announced on that day, we didn't stop there. Recently, we were in Kulam when we heard about a rig that I think it belongs to corn oil that caught fire some time ago. When we went to Kulama, we didn't go to corn oil base alone. We stopped at Kulama, we gathered the people and told them the dangers of this kind of issues before we went to see things for ourselves at corn oil site. So it is now a continuous thing. We have mapped out various programs. We will start with Okroma, that is in Southern Nigeria, that is the local government headquarters. From Okroma, we begin to go to Kwembri, Kulama, and every other places that are hosting oil facilities. Yeah. So that's what we're going to do. So it is actually a policy that we have announced, and it's going to be a continuous thing until everybody gets that awareness.
Okay, you earlier stated that when issues like this come up of vandalism or eruption, the companies usually say that these things were carried out by the localities, so therefore they don't want to take responsibilities. What are the measures that government is putting in place or doing to curb pipeline vandalism?
Okay. In as much as we are fighting against oil pollution, we have also discovered, or we must first accept that our brothers, our people, sometimes are also responsible. Yes, sometimes.
You said sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Why sometimes?
Sometimes because, like I said, though majority of the spill cases after post-investigation shows that it was as a result of sabotage, but a few of them, like for instance, what happened at Agbura Axis, it was as a result of equipment failure. What happened at Agoro recently, it was as a result of equipment failure. At least these are a few in recent times. Yeah. So you cannot entirely say all the time it is our brothers that are destroying the pipe. So that is why I said sometimes. Now, in as much as we have appreciated the fact that sometimes our brothers do create this problem for ourselves, we have to ensure that all of that should be condemned and stopped. It was based on that when we marked the World Environment Day. His Excellency Honorable Seriake Dickson mentioned that he's going to come up with a task force that is going to focus on how to curb this pipeline vandalism. And even in my ministry, when I came on board, we have been able to put together a particular task force. We call it Environmental Regulations Compliance Enforcement Committee. That has been put together and they have started working. So things like this will definitely curb the degree to which our brothers, because when it is a crime to destroy the pipes. It is a crime. So if this crime, laws governing these kind of activities are seriously enforced, I think it's going to stop them to a large extent from doing that. While we now focus on the natural cause, so to say, which is the equipment failure, and hold on to the oil companies.
All right. I'm still going to take you down with some questions. Like, Bayelsa State's issue on environment is peculiar, like you said. Let me ask you this question. What other areas of the environment is the government working hard to maintain?
Well, when you say environment, you are talking about every aspect of human existence.
Yes.
If the environment is not properly kept, if we do not support nature, it is really going to affect us. For instance, issues like erosion, plastic waste, indiscriminate dumping of disposal of waste, and stuff like that, flooding situation, and things like that.
Yes.
These are things governments really have to come in and see how things will be better for the people. So we are doing a whole lot in the area of flooding. We are tackling flooding to see how when it rains, houses will not go flooding, and we are, of course, we have a good scorecard in keeping the university clean. Robert Noah and his team, the environmental people, they are doing a lot of jobs. I always commend them for what they are doing. We have a high scorecard in that area as well. And with what we have started in even the pollution area, oil pollution area, I think if the spirit is the way it is and we pursue all of this, I think Bayelsa is going to be a very safe place in terms of environmental issues.
Okay, quickly, just take this one too. The use of domestically powered generators is causing massive noise pollution and gas pollution. How is your ministry poised to handle this?
Well, you see, the problem we have in Nigeria is this. When it comes to what the federal government, the central government can do for the people, we stylishly neglect that aspect. But when it comes to what the people can do for the central government, they are going to enforce it. You are not going to blame the people for using this I pass my neighbor generator and other sizes of generators. You won't blame them because it is the responsibility of the federal government to ensure that all the states are connected to the national grid. The federal government cannot do that. Sometimes I even hear that all these big people who are up there doing business even have some small arrangements and to move their business because they're into importation of generator. I don't know what Nigeria is becoming. You because of that you want to reduce the voltage from the national grid so that you are going to import generators and your business will be moving. So you cannot blame the individuals. How are you? I also have a generator. I believe you also have one because that is the society we find ourselves, and these are the things we want to correct. It takes just one man. If the federal government and every other states are doing what Governor Dickson is doing, I think Nigeria is going to be a better place. Now, Governor Dickson wants to connect all the rural communities with electricity. So, if the federal government can emulate what Governor Dickson is doing, all these pass my neighbor team will not be there. Now, if you want to enforce any law governing noise pollution, and you ask that person to stop, has the federal government provided light for that person? The answer is no. So there are some issues, even as a ministry, we try to romance, appreciating the reality of the society we find ourselves. That's the truth.
Okay. Let's quickly talk about flooding. Bayelsans are lamenting the flood, saying they are making frantic efforts to relocate from their homes as the floods occasioned by the torrential rain, which has destroyed their property and all that they have toiled for over the years. What measures has the government put in place to tackle the menace?
That's a very good question. First, I want to sympathize with those Bayelsans whom houses were flooded as a result of the rain. There is no way you will say the rain shouldn't come. The rain must come. We are into the season. The rain must come. But as a temporary measure, what we are doing as a ministry, as a government, is to open up all the canals that are blocked. Open up all the drains that are blocked.
Is that on now?
For the now, that's the temporal, a short-term measure that the ministry is working on. Okay. But as a long-term measure, the ministry is designing a robust drainage system which we are going to smuggle into the budget, so that it's going to be a project that will stand the test of time. That is what we are doing, because every year when it rains, you open on the drains, you open on the canals. It's going to be a continuous thing. But when we design and actually execute this a holistic drainage system that will connect the entire city, I think that is going to be a lasting solution to this problem. But there is one issue, very important. We also discovered that we, the citizens of Yenagua, the inhabitants of Yenagua, we dump our waste indiscriminately. If you go to our drains, you will see that we have thrown in all sachet water papers, plastic bottles, and what have you, blocking the drains by ourselves. So we are also developing a law which we will send to the assembly to restrict people from dumping refuse indiscriminately. Like there is one particular canal we opened. About 3 days later, when we get to that place, we realized that the water is not moving very fast. When we were digging deep, we saw that they have dumped all their deaths in that canal again. So you can imagine, we are suffering ourselves by ourselves. So in as much as government is doing its bit to ensure that things go well with people, we also have to support government by checking our conduct. But I know human beings, we are very stubborn. So we are developing a bill we will send to the assembly to restrict people from dumping refuse indiscriminately. So that even when government has been able to come up with that robust and a holistic drainage system, the people will not dump their refuse in the drains and the canals again. Only a bill or a law that can stop them, so that you know that if you throw your sachet water into the drain, you'll be arrested.
Okay, sir. On a closing note, what should Bayelsans expect from the Ministry of Environment?
Okay.
Next, what should they expect from you?
Yeah, all these things like this drainage system we are talking about is something on the pipeline. So Bayelsans should expect that. And Bayelsans should expect a very clean and safe environment. But I need the support of the people.
Are there designated refuse dump sites?
Of course there are. But we have also discovered that these receptacles are not enough. So we are planning on how to create new ones. Virtually in all the internal roads, there should be one or two, at least two receptacles, so that people can easily dump, then the waste management company can pick it up. So all of these things will be provided, so that people cannot say, oh, there is no receptacle near my corner, that is why I dump my refuse in the drain or in the canal. So all of that is what we are going to do. But the basic thing is this: as a commissioner in the Ministry of Environment, I am from Bayelsa State. I spent at least greater part of my life as an adult in Yenagua. So I understand our problems. So as a commissioner in the Ministry of Environment, any environmental issue that I know that is not good enough for me, right from when I was a boy until now, of course it won't be good enough for other Bayelsans as well.
Yeah.
So we are going to come with policies, if possible, legislations that will be sent to the assembly to ensure that the Bayelsa State environment, Yenagua City, is clean, and even the local environment is clean for habitation.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. But on a closing note, what do you have to tell our viewers out there?
Yes, I want to urge the people of Bayelsa State to please support the restoration government, ably led by Governor Seriake Dickson. Today, I don't know if any of my matter is on the Facebook. People are commenting, though a few definitely will say, is that what he should do? But whether you like it or yes, a greater percentage of Bayelsans are saying good things. And that goes to mean that Governor Dickson has good plans for Bayelsans. That is why he discovered let him act in this function. That is how he picked me, and that's how he has picked every other person. Today, somebody like the Commissioner for Labor and Productivity, Kokodia, he's doing a great job. He has gone to the federal government to see how Bayelsa opportunities that we are, they sought over there, he should bring all of them and things like that. No, His Excellency has picked people that have Bayelsa State in heart, and everybody is working around the clock. So support Governor HSDickson, support the restoration government. Governor HSDickson means well for Bayelsa people. It is only when he has left office we know what the governor has been doing. Even in the climax of recession, a governor that has led us without any problem. Yes, there are these labor issues, but before long, they also come to realize that, look, these are real issues that is not peculiar to Bayelsa State. So please support Governor Dickson, support the restoration government, and the future is going to be very good for all of us.
Thank you. That has been the Honorable Commissioner for Environment, Honorable Ebipatei Apaingolo, who has talked extensively on our environment and our Bayelsa. This has been Knowing Bayelsa, and this wouldn't have come to a great success without you, our viewers out there. Thanks for having us, and thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow, same time. Bye.